Hello YouTube. What's going on? It's almost 1:30 in the morning, so I'm going to be a little bit more quiet when commentating, so I have the mic close to my mouth. My name is Scrub. I'm an Elden Ring invader, and I've been invading since the beginning of last year, and I aspire to become a skilled bad red man. The problem is right now with Elden Ring is that invasions are kind of cooked, and yes, that is totally opinionated. I usually invade around like level. Well, I kind of invade anywhere, but I tried to stay away from level 200 or level 168 and above. So I'll invade at like level 20, I'll invade at like level 40, I'll invade at like 125, 138, 150, and sometimes level 90. So, I invade at quite a lot of ranges. But ever since the DLC has come out, there's been a smorgasbord of a lot new content, a lot new weaponry and magic and equipment to use both in PvE and PvP. And I'm not trying to put any blame on From Software, but I think that they kind of overlooked the PvP scene when adding in a lot of this stuff. This game feels much more anime-like now. I think that with the rise of anime being popular in a lot of countries now, it seems that the game was trying to appropriate that kind of culture and make Elden Ring feel like you're playing in an anime video game, which I totally understand. There's so many cool things. It's really cool to use all this new fun stuff in PvE, but I feel like in PvE it's difficult. It's difficult. There's a giant imbalance in the scale of combat when it comes to invasions. I think the arena is okay. Sure, you're gonna get a lot of blind spot spammers like this guy, but otherwise it's a 1v1. Just get good. But in the terms of like 3v1s, it's meta level is absolutely cooked right now. There's so many just like organized ganks, and just spell spamming, Ash of War spamming, cucks. Forgive my language, but no other way to explain it. So I took my complaints to Reddit, and people have said, hey, come back to Dark Souls 3, which I kind of want to try, but I've only beaten Dark Souls 3 twice, and I've maybe invaded like 3 times. It's so different. As someone who started playing Elden Ring as their first Souls game, there's so, I don't know, going backwards just feels weird, but it's something that I might at least explore. Other people have said just try low level invasions, and you know what, playing as a solid knight at like level 30 sounds fun. It's good when you don't have to worry about people spell spamming all the time, but there is a lot of overleveled phantoms and password summons, and I've made a video discussing that as well. So if you want to check out that video and let me know your comments. Well, actually no, I paused comments because all of y'all just love spreading negativity. Not all of y'all, I'm sorry. There's plenty of good people out there, so forgive me. It's just there's a little bit of a bitterness that I'm holding on to, so I'm gonna try not to explode all of that here. But yeah, no, and then other people have said try level 200, and I've tried level 200 pre-DLC only a small amount of times, and so I was kind of unsure whether or not I would have a good time. But I was just like, I love invasions. There's something I don't understand it. I don't understand the itch it scratches. Even though I have a 4-year-old computer and a lot of my hardware is outdated to like run a lot of things, I'm lucky that I'm able to even record and play this game at the same time. But there's moments like that where my frames will just like pause randomly. Don't know what the deal is. It's just a PC thing. But no, I'm lucky to be able to at least play this, and I enjoy. There's so many things in invasions that I enjoy, and so it's like I don't want to give it up because I'm close to, but I don't want to. So I decided to take this guy to level 200. This is a horn-sent sojourner. A sojourner meaning like a traveler or whatever. So this guy has left the land of shadow and actually have traveled into the lands between to explore what's going on. And this guy came back to the land of shadow with a bit of an agenda on his hands now. But I'll get into that later, and I'll explain the stats and all the equipment and weapons used. But to preface, it's a Dexterity Faith build. And since I'm playing at level 200, I have quite a lot of dexterity and I have quite a lot of faith. Did I say dexterity faith? I think so. And I also have a lot of stamina as well. So now I can actually like wear heavy armor and actually poise through attacks. So I'm kind of tired of like having to look good, because there's a lot of things that you're sacrificing to look good. And like, sure, I try to find a balance between style and just skill. So yeah, so it's a dex faith build with a little bit of lore. So I'm pretty tanky and I'm pretty powerful. But the funny thing is about level 200 is that you'll come across a lot of people around that level range that aren't really that strong. And you would think to yourself, how could you not really be strong? Like, how is this guy heavy rolling at level 200 when he could use the Great Jar Arsenal Talisman and at least invest some points into endurance? I don't know. And then there's plenty of people out there that still have less than 1000 HP, so I just don't really understand. Like, I don't understand it. It's interesting. So it's just funny. But yeah, I'm much more powerful now, so I'm kind of enjoying it, to be honest. So we're going to continue to see what I can do at level 200. Speaking of, since like with all the new content that's added in the DLC and the patch that came right before it, there's so much. The meta has changed a lot, and there's still so much that I need to learn about and adjust to. When it comes to, you know, PvP combat, there's so many new setups being ran, especially like shield pokers, man. I've seen an abundance of those. And then obviously the meta, which is strength builds with high poisey armor, you know, that never left, and I don't think it ever will, because that's just how this game works. But you know, things are changing, and so I feel like another reason why I'm having a hard time invading and finding enjoyment in it is because I'm still going through the ebb and flow of figuring out like what all these new setups are with all this new equipment, magic, weapons, you know, the whole shebang. So it's a learning curve that I'm going through right now, and it's just leaving me a little frustrated. So one thing for sure is that, as you saw earlier, the Zamor Curve Sword it was an underdog, and now look where it's at now. It's like one of the most powerful weapons to use, especially with that L2. But you know what's also powerful is what's the weapon? The backhand blades. Context. I'm not going to play out this entire invasion because it's just boring. The reason why is because it's me just dodging a bunch of people who are using skill slash or blind spot. I don't know what kind of like slang term to give that Ash of War, but honestly, I think blind spot is super annoying in 1v1s, and it's easy to kind of dodge in like 3v1s or 2v1s. But Swift Slash is the ultimate gank Ash of War, and it's annoying. And so for context, like I skipped a lot of this invasion because it's these three guys all just using backhand blades. Luckily, one of them turned into a Christmas tree, so we have to give, or I was going to give him the clap, but you know, there's priorities. So yeah, there's a lot of just people who love spamming L2, and there's still a lot of just, I don't know how to describe it, because I don't want to use the term cancer because that's a very 2016 thing, and I know that there's people that would be extremely offended if, you know, if they suffered it themselves, or if they know people and lost people due to it. So it's like, but what other word do I use? What other word does a gamer who grew up gaming and playing Call of Duty most of his life say? Man, I should start reading books. I should really start reading books and actually expanding my vocabulary. Oh well, c'est la vie. So yeah, no, there's still a lot of see, I'm trying to use a different word. Mindless. There's a lot of mindless weaponry and mindless tactics being used, you know, despite the meta changing. So really just trying to get around it and understand it it's a learning curve, like I said. So slowly but surely. That's kind of like my catchphrase. I don't, like, if you had a catchphrase, let me know in the comments. If you had a catchphrase, what would your catchphrase be? Mine is slowly but surely, because like I'm kind of I'm a fast learner, but it's slow for me to apply, because like I have to like learn things and then I have to like wait until I'm like confident to apply what I've learned, which is kind of weird. It's definitely an insecurity thing, but yeah. But anyways, let's get into. I decided to create a little bit of lore around this guy. So his name is Scrub, as always, because you know I'm Scrub, the Tarnished. I'm an Elden Ring invader, and you're watching me on YouTube right now. If you're watching this video not on YouTube, how the heck are you even watching this? Go to YouTube and subscribe. But this is a horn-sent sojourner. Sojourner means like traveler or explorer. So the lore behind this guy is that he is like a little Curseblade or horn-sent guy that has made it out of the lands of shadow into the lands between. Low-key, I'm kind of improvising some of this as I continue, but I think the dots are connecting. So he's ventured outside of the lands of shower. Yeah, he got out of the shower and dried himself off in the lands between. And so he has been indoctrinated to the ways of like the Golden Order, rather than, you know, what the Order has left behind in the lands of shadow. And so now he's understanding, like, wow, my people, the horn sense, the guys with the horns, they kind of suck. They kind of suck. And so he's adopted a lot of combat techniques, magic, and weaponry, and just, you know, he's indoctrinated the Golden Order into his life. And now he has to return to the land of shadow to burn the shadow tree. What? That sounds crazy, Scrub. Yeah, it is. So now he has to go all the way through the lands of shadow, beat Mesmer, or luckily get revenge on Mesmer. So, or actually, now it's kind of a bittersweet thing for a guy like this to get rid of Mesmer. But then even get to like Mikola and Radon, and then finally figure out what it takes to burn the Shadow Tree. And then maybe this guy will become Elden Lord. We'll see. Because, I mean, I don't know. It's really hard to tie in, like, what will this guy do after he burns the Shadow Tree? Will he become Elden Lord now that he can burn more than one tree? I guess we'll find out. I'm not going to write a stupid fan fiction for my characters, but I do appreciate those who actually take the time to give lore and thematics to the characters that they create in Elden Ring. But that's just not my thing. But I thought I'd at least give it a shot. But a fun fact, though, I was reading the book of Daniel in the Bible. It's in the Old Testament. And Daniel is kind of kidnapped into, for context, he's kidnapped into the kingdom of Persia. And so he, luckily through the power of God, was able to stay alive because his people were exiled and persecuted for believing in God, because the Persians just did not like that. And so Daniel was able to luckily be like the king's right-hand man. And a lot of what happens in Daniel is he receives a lot of like prophecies and dreams. And so one of the prophecies is that, also get guard broken, one of the prophecies is that where it's kind of like a dream. Like there's this ram and it has one horn longer than the other, and then there's this goat with like a very large horn that comes out of nowhere. And then like I can leave the chapters and the comments if you guys want to read it. And be in mind, this is Old Testament stuff, and this is a prophecy / vision that Daniel received. So you got to take it with a certain kind of context. You cannot take this literally, just so I can shed some light. But for some reason in this dream, a lot of the horns, or the goat overtakes the ram, with the goat with the large horn takes over the ram. And then once and to symbolize these goats and these animals, the horns, they actually represent kingdoms. And so there's 4 horns that come out of the singular goat's horn. Sounds crazy, right? It is. And then more horns just keep on sprouting. And so what the vision is symbolizing is the conquering of Persia from the Greeks. It's all historical prophecies, just in weird, bizarre dreams. But it's just funny to see how I don't know. It's kind of cool to see the inspiration, I guess. I don't know if FromSoft took that same inspiration from the Bible into like the horn sense, because the horn sense believes that the horns were like divine in nature. So I'm trying to put some parallel there as well. But it was really interesting. I know I kind of butchered that story from Daniel, but hopefully you guys can understand the gist. So yeah, so now that you're here, hopefully if you're here, also, how did that guy die so quickly? He only gave me like 2,000 runes, so he has to be below meta level, which I find surprising. But let's get into builds. So I have 75 dexterity and I have 52 faith, and I have some sources that are giving me dexterity. So my third talisman slot is the bull goat talisman. So with the armor that I'm wearing the tree sentinel thing, the chest piece, and I'm wearing the bull goat greaves, and then I forgot what gloves I'm wearing. Oh yeah, Radon's pre-DLC Radon's gloves. That's giving me 100 something poise, so I'm a tanky boy. And then the Curseblade mask, that gives you +5 dexterity. So my third talisman slot, I can either switch out the bull goat talisman and put on the Millicent's prosthesis, so I can go from 70 to 75 with the mask on, and then to 80 with the talisman. So I have a lot of dexterity, and then I just have a lot of points put into faith. The reason why is because I could go 99 dexterity, but I love faith. I love having faith, and so at this level, I think I don't know if the dry leaf seal or the Godslayer seal scales better at 52, but the thing is, I'm going to use Electrify Armament here. The damage output that comes from that incantation and that weapon buff scales off of your faith, so I might as well put a lot of points into faith, so that way I can have a lot of lightning damage on my weapons, which is really good for Arcane infusements, or not really, it doesn't matter. You could put on a heavy infused weapon as well, or just quality, it doesn't matter, because I could just lightning infuse my weapons with my dexterity, but I thought I'd just have a buff if I need it. And plus I'm standing on water, so people's lightning defenses are going to be lower along with mine. And so the reason why I have 52 exact is because I have that, the Floor Sax Dragon Coal incantation. It's a buff, so it's like, I forgot the number exactly, but it's like 10% of both physical and all elemental damage negation. So like I could use just like the anti-wizard buff, or just like the anti-lightning or anti-holy, but you know what, it's like damage is still going to be damage. You're going to receive it nonetheless, so I might as well just receive less of all of it rather than having to alternate between different buffs, so I can focus on one kind of like specific damage. So I was just like, you know what, might as well try it. So it's nice, it's rather convenient, so I'm okay with like the 10% negation. So yeah, and plus with 52 faith, we can use Elden stars. You know, there's not really a lot of things that you can use in a dexterity build that is like a good, like, hey, I'm going to separate you guys. So Elden stars is like the perfect medium to just get phantoms and players away from each other. So otherwise, like, if I need I'm not really using any more offensive incantations other than like the bestial sling if I just need to quickly just like huck a rock at somebody, or like little shards of rock to dwindle down somebody's HP, or just to finish somebody off. And then I have Wrath of Gold, obviously. If people are like wanting to ride my tail and I don't really have time to do a hard swap onto the Zamor Curve Sword, I'll just use Wrath of Gold. You gotta time it, be in mind. You have to, it's something you gotta time. You can't just like have somebody like be in hugging range of you and then just hit it there, because you can easily get knocked out of it. So those are my incantations. And then for my weapons, I just have a big assortment of dexterity and keen infused weapons. The main focus, or the weapon in focus, is the shoot, I forgot what it's called. It's the horned curved sword, yes, this one, and it's a paired curved sword, and the Ash of War is called Horn Calling. But look at my it consumes like, with 40 stamina, that Asher War consumes like half of your stamina, and that's a lot of stamina to have for 40. So it's like, I don't know if that's bugged, but it seems unintentional. Otherwise, it's good. It has good range. There's more I can describe about it, but you know, I'll let that be determined by you trying it or you watching other YouTubers, because this video is almost over, and I want to showcase this this invasion as the last invasion, because yeah, sometimes a lot of invasions go by quickly. Some of them go by super long because a lot of people are so passive. It's so, I don't know, this game is just a cover shooter at this point. So it's like, I really just want to be able to W key and just aggress on people, but with, you know, my internet and my PC specs and just my skill alone, I don't think I have the ability to just W key like that and be aggressive. So I have to be a little bit more passive, especially if blues are going to be summoned constantly. Hosts are going to be able to resummon their phantoms, but you know, in the end, you just have to discern whether or not you have to be patient, and patience can go a long way, for example. So yeah, I did it. I managed to speak throughout this entire video without running out of things to say. See, it's nice when you have like a template of things to say and then just go off of that rather than just trying to improvise the whole thing. So yeah, thanks so much for watching. My name is Scrub. I'm an Elden Ring invader, obviously. You just saw that. And then here are the stats to the build. And then here are the weapons. And then here are the talismans, which I'll show very shortly, right about now. And yeah, so level 200 invasions, definitely will try a little bit more. I'm thinking about doing either a strength, I'll probably showcase like a strength arcane build, and then a level 40 sleep build, and then so forth. So yes, thanks so much for watching. Be good to yourselves, do good to others, and good will be given back to you. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. So until next time, peace.